NBA superstar LeBron James, he ignited a bit of a firestorm on Instagram over the weekend when he tweeted out a very well-known and often used meme with Spidermen. Could be two of them, could be three. In this case, there was three, where he equated COVID, the common cold, and the flu. And there's the picture there he posted, and with the caption, "Help me out, folks," because COVID and flu are the same. Isn't that funny? So while blue checks were arguing on Instagram over it, as well as just random folks were complaining and going back and forth, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hall of Fame center for the Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers from back in the day, he took to his account. It was his Substack account. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar took to and had a few words for LeBron James and his approach here, where he said LeBron James is not only one of the greatest basketball players ever, he's committed to being a leader in the African American community in the fight against inequality. But his Thursday Instagram meme showing three cartoon Spidermen pointing at each other, one labeled COVID, flu, and cold, with his message, "Help me out, folks," was a blow to his worthy legacy. He also continued that James's celebrity might affect the black community's choice on COVID-19 vaccination, while pointing to data that highlights COVID-19's effect on communities of color. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went into details about the numbers within the black community, the numbers that happen when it comes to anything, when it comes to public health or taking care of folks or giving them access to being well. It's why many times black folks die earlier in this country, primarily black women getting a lack of care in hospitals and things like that, and black men just simply not going. That's what happens in general. Of course, generalizations, but these are numbers is why these types of things happen. So he's pointing all that out in a much longer, well thought out manner. But so the question just comes, then what was LeBron thinking? What was the plan here? Was he a little bored? Was it 1 a.m. and he's like, "Oh, I'm a little drunk. Let me just go ahead and Instagram this out."
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think there's a lot of interesting questions here. So he has expressed one other similar thought about defending other players that don't get vaccinated, is my recollection of what LeBron said. I really like LeBron James as a player and a person. I don't know him personally, obviously, but he has oftentimes stepped up and said things that are important and has grabbed a spotlight and directed it towards a cause that needs to be discussed, like police reform in this country, okay? I thought he should have done it earlier, in fact, especially when it happened in Cleveland to Tamir Rice, but it's okay. He got there, and he got there in a strong way. Now there's a great irony here of people on our side seemingly telling him shut up and dribble, which is what Laura Ingraham said to him when she disagreed about his theoretically left-wing positions, right? So now, by the way, Michelle Beadle, former ESPN host, is basically saying LeBron should just shut up. And I don't want to hear him or athletes on issues they have no expertise in. Well, I don't know that he's got an expertise in police reform, but I still want to hear from him on that. So my position on both him and Aaron Rodgers, and now when I bring Aaron Rodgers into it, people get even more mad, is that I disagree with them, but I don't hate them. Is that allowed?
It's such a weird thing because we discussed this earlier. So and the thing is, that question is a valid question because that's what happens. That's why I was talking about the folks on Twitter versus the blue checks and the regular folks. They're just battling and fighting now, and becomes this whole same discussion over, oh well, if COVID's just so much different than the flu and the cold, then how come people are surviving it? So it becomes that same ridiculous argument where there's no facts being thrown around, just a bunch of opinions based in absolutely zero reading or research. So that's what it becomes to. But then people feel they have to go with the, oh man, I hate LeBron James. Why don't he just stop talking? And now we have this heightened sense in social media that you either love the person or you hate him off of whatever the last thing you heard them say was. And it's such a minimizing thought process. LeBron opened that school. LeBron said things about Ahmaud Arbery and how black men are hunted in broad daylight. And he got so much pushback for these types of things. And I was celebrating him for that. If he says something that I disagree with, which is this, because it's not based in science, it's not based in the facts, it's not based in what we've seen for the past nearly 2 years, then I can say, oh man, LeBron, I don't know what's going on there, but I think you're a little off. So tomorrow when he plays, I'm not gonna go, oh, I can't believe that guy believes COVID, the flu, and the cold are the same thing. I can't take it, I'm taking my hat and throwing it. It's ridiculous. He's just wrong here, in my opinion. Now, facts can also weigh that out, whether or not who's right and who's wrong, but it's just an opinion. He's wrong in mine. So, I mean, unless he starts saying that black people shouldn't exist or anyone else shouldn't exist, trans people, gay folks, LGBTQ community, unless you start saying people's lives mean nothing, I mean, that's the point where I'm gonna start going, I'll start questioning your character. Right here, this is just a bit of ignorance, I think.
Yeah, and it comes from his perspective, is my guess, right? And what's his perspective? Well, most of the people he knows are vaccinated, and they're all in incredible physical shape in the NBA. So for a lot of them, if they went through COVID, it probably was minor. So from his perspective, he's thinking, it looked like the cold or the flu for the guys that I knew, right? But LeBron, you got to think broader than that. But guys, the most important thing is there is a line, right? And if you cross the line, as JR says, and you think, oh, you're gonna do what Candace Owens does, and it says, violence in this country is brought to you by black culture. That's a paraphrase of what she said. No, that crosses a line, then you're a terrible person, right? But by definition, if you didn't cross the line, that's just like your opinion, man. We got to be able to say that. You can't cancel everyone, even in your own mind. Nobody's firing LeBron, trust me, right? But you can't cancel everyone you disagree with. You'll have no one left, okay?
It's gonna happen.
Right, so here I am. I don't agree with LeBron. I don't agree with Aaron Rodgers. I don't hate them. I think that they're allowed to have their opinion, and we could talk about it. Problem solved.
And why can't he talk? That's the chance. Respond and go, hey LeBron, this is the facts, which a lot of people did. So yeah. That's a discussion. It doesn't have to be stop talking. It's here's the facts.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.